He picked me up on a rainy night, old car, jazz on the radio, meter already running. I was too tired to care, too lost in my phone to look up. A few minutes in, he said, "You okay?" I sighed. "Just a long day." He nodded. "I had a long life once, then it turned into this." Something in his tone made me put my phone down. "You used to do something else?" "Teacher," he said. "Math. 32 years. They cut my program. Pension vanished. Now I calculate tips instead of futures." Silence filled the car. Rain whispered against the window. At a red light, I asked, "Do you miss it?" He smiled sadly. "Every time I see a kid stare out the window like you just did." We talked the rest of the ride about students who still sent him cards, about the one who'd once said, "You're the only adult who ever waited for me to finish a sentence." When we reached my stop, I paid the fare. He handed me the receipt with a small equation written at the bottom. Hope times patience equals possibility. I laughed. "Still teaching." He winked. "Still learning. Who listens?" 2 months later, I saw his face on a local news story. A former teacher turned taxi driver had started free weekend math lessons in the back of his cab for neighborhood kids. "My classroom just has seatbelts now," he told the reporter. I printed that quote and taped it to my fridge. A week later, I volunteered to help him organize a schedule. He had 5 kids, signed up 3 in elementary, 2 in middle school. I watched him explain fractions to a 10-year-old using leftover coffee cups. He turned division into a story, multiplication into a game. One boy asked, "Do you have a real classroom?" He shook his head. "Nope, but every car ride is a chance to learn something new." A girl giggled when she realized she'd solved a problem faster than him. He applauded, genuinely impressed. I noticed him scribbling on napkins, notebooks, even the backs of receipts, formulas, diagrams, doodles, encouragements. By winter, his weekend cab school had a waiting list. Parents joked he should quit driving and open a real school. He just laughed. The lessons aren't about space, they're about patience, curiosity, and showing up. One rainy Saturday, a former student walked in now, a college freshman. "You taught me math," she said. "But more than that, you taught me that someone notices." He handed her a notebook, the first she'd ever filled without fear of mistakes. I realized then every ride, every tip calculated, every conversation mattered more than numbers on a page. By spring, the taxi was plastered with sticky notes from grateful kids, equations, doodles, words of thanks. One night after the last lesson, he leaned back in his seat. "I miss the classroom," he said softly. "But maybe this is better. I get to teach anyone who listens." Even years later, I still think about that rainy night, how a cab ride became a lesson in hope. His students remember him not for grades, but for patience and belief. And somewhere between meters and traffic lights, he proved that teaching isn't a place, it's a presence. You never stop being who you are. Sometimes you just change the size of your classroom, and sometimes the world changes right along with you.